right, everybody, welcome back. Chris McMahon here, and we've got this month, July's market report coming up right here. The numbers are hot off the presses. Now, remember, we're always going back to the previous month, so we're actually going to be talking about June's real estate numbers, and we're looking at residential single family on this one. I do a multifamily one or an investment one, though. That one will come out in a week or so. So if you're interested in some investment properties and that kind of stuff, stay tuned to the channel. Keep an eye on that because we'll be coming out with that one probably next week with all the updated information on there for that. But so hope everybody had a great 4th of July. We're here just in the first week of July right here. So we got all the updated numbers. And let's just dive right into it. And as first, we're going to jump right into it. We're just going to check the capital region as a whole. So it pretty much incorporates Albany up to Lake George, surrounding areas. But we're going to go through, and numbers are coming from the global MLS. So this is the local MLS system that we have up here. So these are the most recent numbers that we can have for you. So let's share the screen here and get right into some of these numbers that we got for you here. So right now, this is covering the area in general. I'm going to break it down into some other areas, cities and stuff like that a little bit. And if you don't see something that you are interested in an area, because I can't cover everything in this video, but if you don't see something, reach out and get a hold of me. My information, my contact will be below. You can also schedule a one-on-one appointment with me. I'll be more than happy to do your own video for you, cover that area, get you that information that you need so you're informed on what's going on here. But let's go through here a little bit, and let's just check out these numbers here. So we do have some changes, some things here. So we got the number of listings, and we got the blue listing right here, which this is our active listings. If you've been watching the videos in the past, you're familiar with that here. And the active listings, we're seeing an increase in active listings, about over 100 listings, which is good because inventory has been down. So we're seeing that inventory come up over the capital region as a whole. We'll see how that affects some of the other areas individually as we move on here. The green is the new listings, and it's staying relatively flat, actually. So it's a little over 1,300 in last month, and it is for the month of June when we wrap that up here. And the purple listings is the sold listings that we've got on here. And the sold listings has increased as well. It was a little over 800 for the previous month. At the month of June, we ended up, it was 873. So it did jump up a little bit. Not a huge influx in that number, but it is increasing for the number of solds there. So if looking a little bit better for people who are looking to sell there, or buy, because we got more options coming out there. Let's take a look here. So average listing price, a big jump, as we can see. It was $330 last month, or in the month of May. June, it jumped up to $367. So we're seeing a big spike in the average listing price, or average sales price, right here for the capital region. Moving down here. So absorption rate. So some of you see me talk about absorption rate. If no homes are sold or put on the market today, how long would it be until the capital region was out of homes to sell? No more homes to sell. And we're seeing that number in months going up. It was a little over a month and a half before. Now we're up to about a month and 3/4. So that is, you can see the trend here. The high for at least the last year was back here in August, it appears. At a little over 2 months, we saw it come down, and now it's starting to come back up for the capital region. And the list to sold ratio right now is getting 101.7%. So homes are typically going for a little bit more than what they're listing for in there. So sellers, that's good news for you. They're getting more money than what they're asking for. So we're going over here. Days on the market is continuing to drop. We hit our peak back here in February, which is, so winter months tend to be a little bit quieter months, so not all that surprising. But as we moved here, as you can see, into the warmer months, it's gone down. We're right now, average days on the market is about 25 days, which is just under 4 weeks there. And let's go down. We're going to go down and check this right here. This is the column we're talking about solds. All right. So what's selling? What's the hot price point for sold the market? As you can see, the highest number of sold is right here, the 300 to 400 range at 194 homes sold. for the past month. The second, we're actually going up to 500 plus. So 300 to 400 range seems to be the hot spot for the home selling. And then 500 plus is the second on that one. So now that is for the capital region as a whole. Now let's break this down. Let's take a look at some of our other areas here that we like to check out. So the first place we're going to check out, we're going to come down here. We're going to take a look at Saratoga Springs. We'll bring up these numbers. We're going to take the pending out of there because it gets everything a little bit cluttered. So now we're breaking it down to our specific areas, and this is for the Saratoga Springs residential single-family homes as we got here. And so active listings didn't really change, stayed exactly the same. So we're at 90, which is a decent number of listings for the area. New listings increased from 57 to 61, so a little bit higher, a few more new listings on there. And the solds dropped just slightly. It dropped 2. So, I mean, we're not seeing a big change in any of those numbers as well. So it's staying roughly the same as what we've seen before. Listing price, though. So we come over here, and this is actually what we're talking about is the average sales price for the properties in Saratoga. So we had a big spike right over here. It dropped back down in May, and now in June it went back up. So we're seeing back up over that 800 range for Saratoga. So the average sales price is a little over $800,000 for this area. Absorption rate, again, we're seeing an increase. It came up for 2 last month and then the previous month. Now we're up to about 2.25 for the number of months. And the list to sold ratio, we were up over almost 102% Saratoga back in May. It dropped just a little bit. So it's still over 100%, but you're seeing that kind of go down a little bit. 101%. So again, in this area, they're getting a little bit more than what they're actually asking for. So that's staying consistent with the average for the whole capital region there. Days on market is jumping up. We're at 44.5 days, so get close to a month and a half right there. And where is the hot spot in Saratoga? Let's see what as we scroll down here, and let's check it out here. So as you might imagine, they've got an average sales price of over $800,000 in Saratoga. So this really isn't a big surprise that we're seeing the biggest movers in this area are homes over 500,000. They had 23 homes over 500,000 sell. After that, it's quite a significant drop. I mean, the next hot area is the 300 to 400,000 range, but it's at 5. So it's almost 20 homes difference in there. And then we're going up to the 4 to 490, and it's 4, which is really not that different than the 5. So, but big gap. So most of the homes in the Saratoga area are going for $500,000 plus there. So let's move on here. Let's check out, we did Saratoga. Let's check out Albany. Let's check out the capital as we go through here. This is a great spot. I love checking this out. Let's take out the pendings here as well. This is getting a little bit cluttered. So I'm going to take out, right now, we're going to take out the sold listings. We'll pop that back in. We will take a look at it. But as for what we got here now, we've got the number of new listings, 82, which is a pretty decent jump because it's up from 72. So it's up 10, which is pretty good. Active listings, we're right now at 62 when before we were at 66. So the number of active listings has actually kind of slipped a little bit. Not a ton, staying relatively the same. Let's get those new out of there and let's check the sold. And the sold listings are kind of like following the same trend as our active listings right here. But the sold listings went from 63 and dropped to 55. So it's kind of come down a little bit from there as well in the Albany area. So listing price. Let's go over and check our average sales price. Average sales price, we saw it spiked. Now it seems to be correcting a little bit. So it was $276 back in May. June, we're looking at $258. So it has come down a little bit in that previous month right there as far as the average sales price is concerned. Absorption rate. Absorption rate is just under a month, 2 months ago. And it's gone down a little bit to 0.84. So it slipped a little bit, not a huge difference on there. Sometimes the graph makes it look a little bit more, but didn't slip that much. So it's roughly the same, just under a month there in that area. And the list to sold ratio is going up. So this is up almost, what's 104.7%. So it's pushed up to almost 105%. We're seeing this trend all the way back from March. It's been going up and up and up every month. So it was below, it was at 98.3 back in March. Now we're at 104.7%. So the homes in Albany seem to be getting more than what they're listing for in that area. And days on the market took a pretty steep dive right here in Albany from month to month here. It was at almost 25 days here back in May. June, it dropped down to about 9 days, just a touch over 9 days in there. But what's the price point in the Albany area? Let's go down and take a look and see what we got here. So remember, we're looking at this right here. It's just the sold houses. Not really concerning ourselves too much with the other areas right there, but just the sold houses. And the sweet spot right here seems to be this 250 to 300 range, or 299.9. 16 sold in that area, and then we're going 300 to 399.9 is 14. Those are the two leading area price points for the Albany. And then we've got, looks like the 200 to 250 with that 9 in that area there. So there's a pretty decent drop down here from the first two. So that's where the price point is, at 250 to 300, and then that 3 to 399 area. Right there is where the biggest movement is. So we'll come on here. Let's check and see what we got here. Let's check out the next one we got. Let's hit Glens Falls up. Glens Falls getting a little mashed up on this one too. So let's take the pending out. Let's take our sold out. We'll get back to the sold again. So we're looking at the Glens Falls area, number of active listings. That's our blue line right here. So our active listings has actually gone up. It was 7 the previous month. It's gone up to 11. So we don't have a ton of listings in the city of Glens Falls, but we see it jumping up a little bit more than it did before. And along with that are new listings. So new listings was 7 last month, and we had new listings of 18 this month here. So there's been quite a jump. Looks like some places are coming on the market. Active listings are going up. New listings are going up. What are the solds doing? We check that back out. It's still staying relatively the same. As far as the solds, it was 14, and now it's 14. So it's staying exactly the same for those numbers right there. So demand seems to be staying relatively even. We'll see that as we go down and check out some of the other numbers. But so average sales price, that's going up. We were at 190 2 months ago. Last month, it was 134, almost 135. So that's a pretty good jump right there of almost of over $40,000 for the average sales price in Glens Falls. Absorption rate is jumping up. We were at a little over a month and a half, and now we're at 0.87, so almost getting closer to a month of inventory in there. What we're looking at. And days on the market took a steep drop here. 37, say we were about a month, a little over a month and a week. And over here, we're jumping over to 20, so just under 3 weeks now. So it's dropped almost 2 weeks as far as the days on the market. The houses are staying there. So things seem to be kind of moving over in that area. And again, where's the price point? Let's go down here and take a look. What do we got here? The biggest movers and shakers in this area is the 200 to 250 range in Glens Falls, followed by the 300 to 399 range in that area. But it's pretty close. The 180 to 199 and the 250 to 299 both coming in there. Tied for a third here as far as the numbers in there. But so the biggest price point, 2 to 250 in Glens Falls. So let's move this along here, see what we got. Let's step up and let's check out the neighbor there in Glens Falls. Glens Falls, we've got active listings are up, new listings are up. Active listings are going from 11 to 12. New listings are going from 9 to 11. So staying pretty close. These lines are pretty much mimicking each other as we're going through over here. But they're both up a little bit. We've been seeing the average sales price swing up here for the last couple months in this area as well. So the big jump here from this time is at 247.5 2 months ago. Last month in June, 317. So there's been quite a jump here. And this is the highest, as you can see in this graph right here. This is the highest it appears it has been in the last 12 months. So prices in South Glens Falls are going up. We're seeing the highest average sales price that we've seen in a year there in that area. So absorption rate is going up as well. So just under a month and a half. Days on the market spiked quite a bit. We were at just over 2 weeks back in May, and in June it was at 45 days, so a month and a half. So it jumped almost a month. So that's quite a big jump right there on that one. And where are the movers and shakers on this one? Right here, price point 300 to 399. They've sold 6 in that area, and then we got the 250 to 299 and second with 2. So not a lot of sales or transactions going in that area, but that 300 to 399 price point right about there seems to be where most of those are going for. Well, we're going to check Lake George and Queensbury. Those are our last two that we got to take out here. So let's check out Lake George. Lake George is always a fun one, especially this time of year because we're into the summer months. It's a big hot spot for people coming in, especially just getting through the 4th of July. So let's see what we got here as far as this goes. So number of active listings stayed relatively the same, dropped 1. That's going to be the new listings. Were pretty much the same. It stayed at 16, so flatlined right there. So they stayed the same, but average sales point. Average sales was $624,000 back in May. June, boom, 2.6 million. That's the average. Now, I think we got it because there hasn't been a lot of transactions that must have had some big sales, some big camps in there because we're right on Lake George. There's some big money camps right over there that are selling. So it looks like a couple big ones probably went there to drive that up the way it did. So it'll be interesting to see next month. Does that come back down or does that trend stay? Are people buying in Lake George? We'll see. But coming down here, we got our absorption rate. So they were at 4.3 months. They're at 4.5. So it went up slightly, a little bit. The list sold ratio actually looks like it's going to go down. It was at 100% back in May. June, it dropped to 95.8%. So there's a little bit of that. So they're getting a little bit less than what they are listing for over here. Days on the market has jumped from 7 days to 100 days. So quite a big jump on that one right there. But where's the price point? So we saw that 2.8 million or 2.6 million was the average sales price. Let's see what the average price point is for this one as we kind of scroll down. Again, this is sold 2003. We're going to have, we only go up to 500,000 there. So we've got 3. So everything that's sold obviously was pretty pricey camp in the area right there. And those are the only sales. So when you have a small number like that, though, those numbers get affected quite a bit more. But that's what we're looking at for Lake George. I always like to look at Lake George. I think that's a fun one to look at, especially because it's so seasonal up there. And let's check out previous locations. We're going to go in for our last one here, which is Queensbury, which is right next door in that general area. Let's check this one out. New listings are up 23 to 30. Active listings are up. They're up to 26 from 24. So they're sliding up both in those areas right there. List to sales ratio or average sales price. Average sales price are at 437. Again, that's going to be it's up from 361. So average sales price is going up. Let's see. Is that the high? Not quite the high. The high was back here in September where it was 450, but we're getting close to that because the numbers are creeping up in that area. Absorption rate is going up as well from a little over a month to a month and a quarter. As far as that's go, list to sold ratio is going up. It was at 97.5. Now homes are getting over what they're asking, 102.8. So listed them. They're going for more days on the market. We've seen this in a couple other places here in our trip. It's gone down. It was 23 or May 23rd. It was at 55. Now it's at 28. So we come down to just about a month as far as how long properties are staying on the market in the Queensbury area. Let's come down here and check and see where's the price point at. And we're seeing right here, 500 plus. The next 2, one is at 400 to 499, and then we got 200 to 249 is the next spot right in there as well. So that's where the homes are moving in the Queensbury area. One more place that we're going to check out here. Let's go Clifton Park. And here's what we got for Clifton Park here. So new listings dropped, active listings actually up. So we had a big spike in the new listings right there, but the active listings went up from 29 to 33. Listed sales price was 446. I'm sorry, average sales price 446, 444. So that stayed relatively the same. The absorption rate has gone up to just under a month. It was about 0.79. Now it's 0.93. So it's getting close to a month over there. List to sold ratio jumped from 103.6 to 104.4 days on the market. Again, we're seeing this trend going down. Again, came down again from 12 days to, days on the market. It's just about a week in this area right here. And hotspot, here we can see that 4 to 499 area. They sold 10 in that area. The second spot is at 500 and plus. So we're looking at 400 to 500 plus is really where the hotspot is in there for that area. Then a decent drop at that point. So there we go. Those are our numbers for the capital region in those specific areas. And again, like I mentioned, if there is a spot that you're interested in that I didn't cover, because like I said, it's tough to cover them all, so I try and have some certain spots here and get things covered. But if there's an area you're interested in, I didn't cover it, check out my information below. Reach out, get a hold of me, call, text, email, or, just schedule a one-on-one on the calendar. Love to sit and talk with you. We'll pull it up. We'll go through the numbers. I can make your own little video and send it out to you. So, and if you found the information valuable on this one, please subscribe because I got more videos coming out. I don't want you to miss out on those things. So make sure you're subscribing and getting all the new information as it comes out. Other than that, stay tuned here. Click subscribe because we'll be coming out next week with our investors report for anybody interested in investing. And then also we've got our monthly report here. We'll be doing this again next month at about this time. So, hey, take care. Enjoy the summer. And I will see everybody on the next video.